And there might be some event surprises coming your way
Really, Jeff?
while this experimental card is up. So just remember, you're getting rewarded.
Ladies and gentlemen, hello and welcome to the channel. We've just got a developer update. This is about, as you guys can see at the top of the screen, experimental mode, triple damage. Now, I haven't watched this yet, so we're going to watch this together and just sort of react to this and see what's going on, because this has come out of the blue. It's a Monday. We don't generally get developer updates on a Monday, so let's just get into it. See what Jeff's got to say.
What's up, everyone? This is Jeff with the Overwatch team. Very exciting developer update today, because in the last developer update, I mentioned that we would be bringing you something very special, which we call the experimental card.
Yeah.
Well, we are now on the eve of the experimental card going live.
Okay. All right. So the eve. All right. So this is the first time they've done that, I think. So experimental card's coming out tomorrow, which would make sense because the Ash Mardi Gras event also comes out tomorrow. So we're going to get experimental card, the Ash event as well. That's pretty cool, actually. That's pretty cool.
And that's to say that if everything goes correctly, tomorrow we'll have the first version of the experimental card up, and all of you, including everybody on console, will get to play.
Yeah, that is huge, right, guys? Console. The way this experimental card, well, I guess Jeff's going to explain it, so it's kind of pointless me going into that right now. But this is available for console because it will just be a play card where the devs are testing balance updates. Oh my lord!
Play our first experimental modes and test things that we're really unsure about, and that's why they're going to you. I want to remind everybody that the experimental card is not targeted at bug fixing or stability or anything like that. The experimental card is really focused on radical gameplay changes or things that we want to try out and get your direct player feedback on.
Now, what I hope they do with this is I know that they do a load of crazy testing internally, and they just do, like, the developers play against each other with ridiculous rule sets and stuff they're testing. I hope they put all of that into this experimental card so we can see what they're working on. I mean, that would be awesome. And I think it would show as well that the developers are constantly working on stuff, because there can be times, can't there, with Overwatch where there's these massive gaps. Anyway, let's listen to what Jeff says.
So, the first version of the experimental card that goes live hopefully tomorrow. Now, as I said, stuff could go wrong, so maybe it gets delayed a little bit, but hopefully tomorrow this card will go up, and we are going to be testing something that I actually mentioned in a forum post for those of you who are paying attention back in January. That was a change to the role queue system.
Yeah.
Now, I don't want to panic everybody, and I want to remind you that these are really experimental changes. We are unsure of these. That's why we're not patching them live. That's why they're not on the PTR. This is just an experiment that we're trying. So the change to role queue that we're going to be trying on the experimental card tomorrow is one in which it changes the number of roles and restrictions to those roles such that we will have 1 tank, 3 damage, and 2 support players.
Okay. Now, yeah, this has got pros and cons. Like Jeff said, this isn't in the live game. This will just be on the experimental card. Now, I remember Jeff in his massive forum post, because I remember covering this. It feels like a few months ago now, but he was talking about the developers didn't like this. Jeff liked it, but nobody else really did. So, this is going to be, what the?
So obviously this shifts off of the current role queue, which is 2-2-2.
Yeah.
Now, you might be wondering, why are you trying this change?
Yeah.
And I think the why is the most important thing behind any design decision. So the impetus for this was a discussion we were having months ago. In fact, we were having this in, I think it was November or December of last year, where we were talking about how do we make damage queue times faster. As many of you know, when we introduced role queue, which is a system we think is very successful and has overall been a positive change to the game, it added some extra queue time for those players who were playing damage. And one of the ideas that we started to experiment with internally was 3 damage players being available to each match instead of 2.
All right, I'm going to show you this, guys. So this is from Sunday. You guys might see the name of this. Yeah, please, it's a bloody Sunday afternoon, right? Look at that. Let's zoom in on it. That's me trying to play Overwatch DPS on a Sunday afternoon in the EU. That should be a prime time. 11 minutes. This actually went to about, I think it went to about 12 and a half minutes before it popped the queue. But that's yeah, anything to address that. So like Jeff's saying there, the whole point of this was to address queue times, which are terrible for DPS, right? Okay.
This was a lot of fun. It was very controversial on the
Yeah.
development team. We had very strong reactions for and against the system. And ultimately, at around the same time, we had also mentioned to you that we were going to do this experimental card. I made that post on the forums, and so many players said, well, why don't you let us try it? So this is your chance. You can
Yes,
test
Jeff.
out one
Yes. I don't know why I keep
the
pausing and unpausing,
wacky-
Jeff. Sorry, but yes, this is what we want. We want to try it. I mean, like, because my hot take to this right now is there's just going to be too much damage, right? So tanks are going to get absolutely annihilated. Well, the tank is going to get absolutely annihilated. Jeff did say in his forum post that they'd have to change heroes, like so Roadhog became DPS. What would you do with Diva? Like, what'd you do with Zarya? Like, what'd you do with these heroes? They can't function as off tanks anymore because, well, they just can't, right? Because there's one tank. You're not just going to take Roadhog as a tank when you've got an Orisa or a Reinhardt or a Winston or maybe a Ball on the outside chance that are main tanks. You know what I mean? There's just going to be so much damage. This could be hell on earth
key
for
things
tank
that
players.
we've tried. What we are going to be looking for as the experimental card is up is we are going to be looking for the effects to the queue times to see if it
Yes.
actually makes a difference to damage queue times. And we'll be tracking statistics very closely and seeing how it affects not only the queue times within the experimental card, but how that fans out to the rest of the service, including quick play, competitive, and the different modes in the arcade, in particular Quick Play Classic. So we want to see what queue times are like, and that's what the development team is looking for. We're also looking for your feedback because this is a radical change. There's a lot different here. As I had mentioned in that forum post, a few
Well, I'm just going to stop Jeff there because it's an interesting point that he made. Their main priority, I mean, he's made the point a few times there, is to reduce queue times, and they are looking to see if this impacts queue times. So what happens if it really does reduce queue times? Are they just going to replace 222 with this? Just is queue times the only metric? It can't be, but that is interesting stuff. You see, because they'd obviously have to scale this out to the entire player base to test whether it would make a difference with queue times. But they know that I presume most people play DPS heroes. That's just because most of the hero cast is damage dealers, right? Tanks and supports. That there just isn't as many.
I guess it was like a month ago at this point. The biggest concern we have with this change and why we were reluctant to make this one is we're very concerned about what this does to what players have come to call off tanks, specifically
Okay.
Roadhog, Zarya, and Diva.
Yeah.
What you are
Tell me, Jeff.
also going to see on the experimental card, in addition to the change to the queuing ratio, you're going to see big balance changes to these heroes. Now,
Okay.
don't freak out. These balance changes are not intended to make it to the live game unless we were to put the 3-2-1 system out there. Under our normal 2-2-2 roll queue, we would never make balance changes like this. But this is a look into what happens if we decide to make Roadhog the only tank in the match, or if we decide to make Diva the only tank in the match.
Okay. Maybe they're making them super tanks then. Because he's just said, what happens if we make Diva or Roadhog the only tank? Now, in his previous forum post, he did talk about making Hog a DPS. How do you make Hog a tank? Oh, yes, I want to see these changes. Oh, yeah.
You are going to have some insight into the type of balance changes that we would need to make. So we really want to hear from you. We want to hear from tank players. We want to hear from non-tank players. We're going to be looking at the damage queue times and seeing if the experiment's actually fixing the problem that it's trying to solve.
Ooh.
One thing that's really cool about the experimental card, and I want to remind you all of, is that when you queue up for matches in the experimental card, you'll still be leveling your account. So that means if you get another level, you'll still get your loot box reward. And if there is an event going on simultaneous to the experimental card being up, The example I'll use is like Summer Games or our Halloween event. You will still be getting credit towards those epic skin unlocks like you normally do. So I think
So I think that's yeah, because we're going to get the Mardi Gras event at the same time, so you can actually play on the experimental card and still get the result that like the rewards for that event, and that's good. But we've been asking for years, how do you get rewards for playing on PTR? Well, they've solved it with the experimental card, right? Or they appear to have, which is just cool.
think that will be very cool, and there might be some event surprises coming your way
Really, Jeff?
while this experimental card is up. So just remember, you're getting rewarded for testing out new and cool things. And I can't say this last thing enough. Don't panic when you see this card go up. These are changes we are unsure of, and that's why we're getting your feedback on them. It doesn't mean that they're imminently coming to Overwatch anytime soon. It just helps you get some insight into what we're focused on and some of our design process. So we hope you enjoy the experimental card when it goes live. We're looking forward to hearing all.
Hold up, Jeff's got a Zen hoodie on. Is this a Zen lore tease? You know what we would have been saying if we didn't know it was the Mardi Gras event? We would have been like, oh yeah, maybe Jeff's teasing like a Zen lore event. He's got a Zen hoodie on. Oh my god. But he's not.
Of your feedback. And as always, thanks for playing Overwatch, and thanks for being such a great part of our
Cheers,
community.
Jeff. All right, there you go, guys. Yeah, this is pretty cool. I really love dev updates like this. I want to see more. Oh my god, I want to see this experimental card. This could actually be really good. I want to see what they've done to Roadhog. They've teased the hell out of me now. Anyway, guys, I've been Stylosa. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Let me know in the comments below what you think about this. Finally, console players will get to play or experience the PTR. It has been 4 years. I can't wait for you guys to check this out because, of course, PTR balance changes are moving to the experimental card, and this is just going to be so cool. All right, guys, I'm going to catch you guys in the next video. Remember, you can follow me on everything, which is at Stylosa. And yeah, all right, cheers, Jeff. And by the way, Jeff, you are looking pretty good, Jeff. Catch you on the next one. Toodaloo.